العلم أشراف مطلوب وطالبه لله أكرام من يمشي على قدمه. العلم نور مبين يستضيء به أهل السعادات والجهال في الظلم.
نعم, so that has been prohibited. Why? It is not because bidding is haram itself. Like, why has it been made haram? Why is it haram? Because it harms someone else. ومن ذلك, and from that, نهيه عن التفريق بين ذي الرحم في الرقيق. Also, if there are slaves and there's a mother and her child, it is haram to differentiate, to sell them apart. It is haram to sell them apart. Tell those sisters they can come in. They may think that it's the brothers only. So, for example, the Muslims go to jihad and they end up with sabaya, slaves. There's a mother and her child. You either sell them together or leave them together. You leave them off or you buy them all together. Like, you can't say, I'm going to buy just the child, I'm going to buy just the mother. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam prohibited this. Both. Why? Because this small child needs his mother. And it is not only his mother, like, even if it's his older brother, mathalan, his older brother, and this older brother is protecting him, looking after him, and he needs him, that young child needs him, then even his brother or his father or his cousin, you can't separate between them, because the what is still there? The illah, excellent. The illah is still there. The reason why it's haram to separate between a mother and her child is what? Causes harm. This child needs his mother. That is exactly the same. Also, if that's the case for slaves, then it's also even more so for... Sometimes what happens is, when a man divorces a wife, he says, I'm taking my children. That's haram. That is haram. That happens in a lot of cultures, where he wants to get his own back on the wife, on his ex, and he says, I'm taking all of my children. And then the wife sometimes, or the mother, sometimes there's a mental breakdown, goes into depression mode. Why? Because obviously you can't separate a mother and her children. So that is haram. The Messenger ﷺ said, "Anti ahaqqu bihi ma lam tankihi." You have more of a right to him for as long as you do not get married. وَمِن ذَلِكَ, and from that, from the bay' that is haram, is إِذَا كَانَ الْمُشْتَرِي تَعْلَمُ مِنْهُ أَنَّهُ يَفْعَلُ الْمَعْصِيَةَ. If you know that the person that's buying it from you is going to commit a sin, if you know that the one that you're selling it to is going to commit a sin, then it is impermissible to sell it to him. بما اشتراه كاشتراء الجوز والبيض للقمار. So the Shaykh says selling eggs or walnuts for qimar, or gambling. So obviously we don't know what that is. Lakin, it's a form of gambling. It's items, things that are used for gambling. So if there are things that could be used for gambling, and you know these people are going to start gambling, then that is haram. Then that is haram for you to sell to them. أو السلاح للفتنة, or selling weapons when there's a fitna between two groups of Muslims. For example, two groups of Muslims are at war. You can't now go and say, listen, I'm going to start buying all of the weapons that I can because I know I'm going to get good business out of it. Like, that's haram. Why? Because you know if you sell it to them, they're going to what? They're going to start killing one another. وعلى قطاع الطريق, and also to highway robbers. You can't sell weapons to highway robbers. Even if he comes to you and says, listen, sharpen that sword up for me a lot, or sharpen this knife for me a lot, no, you can't do it for him. وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Who can give me an example of this sort of one, where it's impermissible to sell something to someone because of the person? Okay, Jade, good. Selling a razor to a person that shaves. Selling baking soda, don't know what they're going to do with that, but selling baking soda to a drug dealer, whatever they're going to do with it. Tayyib, what else?
Food to someone that should be fasting.
Excellent. No, that food to someone. What if a woman comes to you and she says, give me...
It's a brother. It's a brother.
He might have diabetes. Or he might be buying for his family who are sick at home. So be careful, don't...
Yeah, if a guy comes here,
Huh?
let's say you saw like Rambo knives.
If you sell Rambo knives?
Yeah, he's wearing a balaclava.
He's wearing a balaclava? Na'am, if you know that this person is going to go rob someone, if you know someone's going to go rob someone, then obviously you can't what? You can't sell it to him. You can't sell it to him. The sisters, I want examples as well from you. Na'am, playing cards when you know someone's going to buy it. Go on, sister. Selling?
Selling tight clothing to a sister that doesn't observe hijab.
Tayyib, selling tight clothing to a sister that doesn't observe the hijab. What about if she's married? And she's going to wear that at home?
But she doesn't observe hijab on a normal day.
Tayyib, but she doesn't have to observe a hijab in her home. That's an example. That is a correct example. Sah, lakin. What else? Atar is generally allowed, but you can't really apply that. She might want to buy it for her husband. Huh? A non-Muslimah? No, can be.
Someone on Hajj.
Huh?
Someone that's doing Hajj.
Someone that's doing... La. They might want to buy it as a gift for someone. Go on, examples. Selling grapes to a person who sells alcohol. Good. Or someone who's an alcoholic. Selling contraception to someone who is single. That comes into it. That comes into it. Selling contraception to someone who is single. No.
How do you go between an illah and an ibadah? So you're actually speculating at that point. How do you know what to be in between? So you're not extreme. You might have an illah, but you don't want to actually assume.
If that's the case, the asl is that it's permissible. If, for example, any person that comes to you, you're not going to say to him, what are you going to do with this grape that you want to buy? You can't say that to him. But if he's someone that looks the part, then obviously you're not going to sell it to him. Like, what other examples? Selling gold to? Selling gold to a man who has gold. Is that a correct example? La, because men can sell gold. He might want to buy it for his female folk. La, questions are after. I'm now asking you guys to give me examples. Selling? Selling pork to a Muslim. Even selling pork to a non-Muslim is haram. Selling silk? Why would that be haram? He may sell it to women. A men's tailor. It's a bit tricky because some men are allowed to wear silk. They may have eczema, allergy. So a lot of times it's not straightforward. Selling makeup to a kafira. Sah. Selling makeup to a kafira. That's obviously if you're the shopkeeper. Like if you're in Tesco's, and you work in Tesco's, you're waking up in the makeup section. A woman comes to you, kafira, you can't say to her, listen, I'm not going to sell this to you. Because you're not allowed. طيب, the Shaykh says, rahimahullah, وَمِثْلُ رِبَى الصَّرِيحِ. The Shaykh now, rahimahullah, from now to the end of the chapter, is going back to riba. So that condition, he's already explained it. Allahu A'lam, it could be said, maybe it would have been better if he completed all of the issues to do with riba first, and then moved on to the next condition. Like, Allahu A'lam. Who are we to say? وَمِثْلُ رِبَى الصَّرِيحِ. And from the clear examples of riba, now he's only going to give examples. Everything that you've already studied, you'll understand this now, because you've already understood the principles. The Shaykh says, rahimahullah, وَمِثْلُ رِبَى الصَّرِيحِ. And from clear riba is التحيل عليه بالعينة. Going about it in a deceptive manner. Trying to get riba in a way that you're deceiving who? Deceiving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Deceiving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the meaning of a hila. A hila is when a person, for example, مثلا, the days of Ramadan are long. طيب? So a person says, listen, I can't fast the first 10 days of Ramadan because they're the most difficult days. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to travel. I'm going to go visit my family over in a different city or in a different country. And the traveller what? Is allowed to break his fast. That is a hila. Huh? That's not even a loophole. A loophole is something that can be okay. But this is clear haram. Yeah? For example, the iddah of a woman is how many? Let's say 3 months. 3 menstrual cycles. Her husband's divorced her, she has to wait 3 menstrual cycles. صح؟ طيب. مثلا 6 days, and then the next month 6 days, and then the next month. It goes to about 3 months. Then she goes to the shop, to the pharmacy, and goes get something that can hasten or make the haid, the menses, come quicker. So she gets 3 haids in 1 month. What is the benefit in there for her? Out of the iddah. Because you know that if she's raj'i, if it's a talaq that is raj'i, he can take her back any time within those 3 months or within those menstrual cycles. And he doesn't need to get her permission. And he doesn't need to do a new nikah. And he doesn't need to go to her wali. But sometimes, because she has such hate for this individual, she doesn't even want him to do that. So she goes to the pharmacy and says, listen, give me something to make my haid come quicker. Does that, and then within a month, 3 haids, game over. He can't marry her again. Obviously without her permission. So that is a hila. That is muharram. So all forms of hiyal are haram. And they don't make that thing halal. For example, مثلا a husband he has a terminal illness and he knows he's going to die within about a year. And he's got a wife and he really dislikes this wife. He doesn't want her to inherit him, and he's got a lot of money. He doesn't want her to inherit him. What does he do? He divorces her. When he divorces her and she goes out of her iddah, she's no longer his wife, right? Therefore, will she inherit him? La. So some of them divorce the wife so that they don't inherit them. If he does this, if a man does this, will this benefit him? Will him divorcing her benefit him? No, why not? There's a qa'idah fiqhiyya that we studied, which is من استعجل شيئا قبل أوانه عوقب بحرمانه. Whoever rushes something before its due time, عوقب بحرمانه, he is punished with being deprived from that thing. So she will inherit him, even if he dies a year later. So the Shaykh is about to mention some of the things that people do in order to get away from riba, to go about riba. And the first one is التحيل عليه بالعينة, بيع العينة. What is بيع العينة? The Shaykh says it is a sale of immediate repurchase. That's what it is. You buy something, you buy it back again. You sell something, you buy it back again with a different amount of money. The Shaykh says وهو يعني it is, or بالعينة بأن يبيع سلعة. A person sells, I sell to Abdurrahman an item, بمئة إلى أجل. I say to him, Abdurrahman, take this mobile phone and give me 100 later on. Give me 100 in a year's time. No, it doesn't come under this, nor does it come under that. Why? Because mobile phones, are they mal ribawi? We haven't got to the mahal al-shahid yet, it's coming. So I said, Abdurrahman, take this mobile phone and give me 100 in a year's time. Give me 500, more realistic. Give me 500 in a year's time. طيب? Abdurrahman says, طيب. Abdurrahman has now got what? The phone, and he owes me 500. Then I say, you know what, Abdurrahman? That phone that you've got, let me buy it for you let me buy it. He said, بمئة إلى أجل. ثم يشتريها. Then I buy it from Abdurrahman. من مشتريه يعني from Abdurrahman بأقل منها نقدا. I buy it from him. I buy the phone back from him for a smaller amount than the one I actually sold it to him. So I said, Abdurrahman, give me that phone. I need the phone. And, you only wanted the profit anyway. Right? So I give you, I know Abdurrahman is in need of cash. So I say to him, listen, give me the phone back. Take £400 cash. Take £400 cash, give me my phone back. You wanted cash, didn't you? Because I know Abdurrahman has a need for cash at a particular moment. I'm taking advantage of Abdurrahman's need. So I said, listen, take £400, give my phone back. So I've got my phone. You take that £400. Lahda. I say, take this phone, give me my phone back, you take £400. He says, Tayyib, Jazakallah khair, I needed the cash. Who's got the phone? I got the phone. Who's got the cash? He's got, how much has he got? 400. But how much did he buy the phone for me initially? 500. How much does he give me back in a year's time? We're talking about 9. How? £500. £500. I've got my phone back and I've given him cash. He gives me £500 back. Put the phone to one side. Forget about the phone. It was a hila. In reality, the transaction between me and Abdurrahman is what? 500. I gave him £400 cash. He's giving me how much back? £500.
You made extra 100.
I made how much? £100.
Yeah, pending.
That first transaction is still pending. Why would it get cancelled?
Has he paid the £500?
No, I said to him, give it back to him in a year's time.
That means you're out of pocket with that.
Huh?
That means that you've got the phone and £400 and he's got nothing.
La. Leave the phone to one side. The phone means nothing now. I've got my phone back. He hasn't done me a favour. I haven't done myself a favour. I've got my phone. I gave him how much? £400. How much do I want him to give me back? £500. How much have I conned him out of? 100. بأي حق, what right have I got to take that 100? Cash, listen, cash. What was the conditions for cash? Gold, silver, cash. What was the conditions? Taqabud and equal. That's the whole point of this transaction. It's called a hila. I know he's in need. I know Abdurrahman is in need of cash. The phone was what? The phone was only there to deceive who? To go about riba. And you're deceiving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in reality, the transaction between me and Abdurrahman is I've given him £400. I said, Abdurrahman, take £400, in a year's time, give me 500. Is that permissible? No. The phone is just there to what? To try and make it halal. Of course, he knew from the beginning. That's why the Messenger ﷺ said, إِذَا تَبَايَعْتُمْ بِالْعِينَ. So that's one of the explanations of al-'ina. Bay' al-'ina. And that's one of the worst forms of riba. Why? Not only is it muharram, not only is it haram, because I've taken him I'm going to take an extra £100 off him. But who? But what is worse than that? You're trying to trick Allah Jalla wa Ala. You're trying to trick Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Ayub Sakhtiyani rahmatullahi alayhi, he says, إِنَّهُمْ لَيُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ. Verily they are tricking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, deceiving Allah. كَأَنَّمَا يُخَاطِعُونَ السِّبْيَانِ. As if they are tricking children. لو كانوا يأتون الأمر على وجهه كان أسهل علي. If they were to do the normal transaction, that was haram, that would have been less of a burden, that would have been less of a sin. But in this case, you're trying to trick Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like the example of the one that said, I'm not going to fast. Mathalan, saying, I'm going to travel because I can't even fast. Not only have you not fasted, but you've tried to trick Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying you're traveling. Allah knows you're not traveling. Who are you trying to trick? Tayyib? It would have been better for him to say, listen, wallah, I can't even fast. I'm going to make up these days in the winter. May Allah forgive me. At least then, he can seek repentance. Like in this case, he's trying to trick Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is that understood? So that is bay' al-'ina.
About the example you gave, when you took back the phone, why wasn't the transaction cancelled?
Which transaction?
The first one. So when you gave the phone and you said in a year's time, give it
Well, okay. Why should it be cancelled? Because that phone is whose? Who does it belong to? La, I've sold it to him. Abdurrahman, take this phone. In a year's time, I want you to give me £100. Khalas.
Isn't that qard? Isn't that...
How's that qard? Qard is borrowing. What have I borrowed him?
Oh, sorry, it's like a delayed payment. It's like a delayed payment. It's like a loan.
Is that haram?
So, but does he not own it until he pays it?
La, that's fine.
So once the transation's done,
La, listen. Huh?
even if he has paid it, that 500.
La, listen. Right, listen. Riba falls into what, Ikhwani? Riba falls into what? 6 types of wealth, include and also qiyas. What are those 6 types of wealth? Dhahab and fidda. What else? Salt, dates, grains, and barley. 6. طيب. When we do qiyas, we're going to say all currencies, cash. Anything you buy, anything else with. Is that understood? Also, anything that is weighed or measured, that is food. Is that understood? طيب. I have a kitab. I have 2 kitabs. Muhammad has 1 English Manhaj Saalikeen. I say, listen, take these 2 books and give me your Manhaj Saalikeen. Your English Manhaj Saalikeen. Is that halal or haram? Why is it halal? It is not mal, that is ribawi. Riba doesn't fall into that. When it's buying and selling. When it is buying and selling. Me getting this phone now and saying to Abdurrahman, take this phone, I'm going to sell it to you for £500. The £500 is ribawi, sah? طيب. But this item, is it ribawi? No. So there's nothing preventing me from selling this phone to Abdurrahman in a halal way, with no deception. Nothing preventing me from saying, Abdurrahman, take this phone, give me £100 later on. Give me £500 in a year's time. That transaction, as per se, as it is there's nothing wrong with it. Is that understood? Okay. So now who owns this phone? Abdurrahman. What do I get out of it? I'm waiting for my £500. That transaction is complete. I'm just waiting for him to give me my money. That's a halal transaction. Then I say to Abdurrahman, you know what, Abdurrahman? I've got cash. You only need cash. What do you want? What are you going to do with my broken phone? I've got cash. Let me buy the phone off you. Let me buy the phone off you. Then let me buy the phone from you. Okay? The phone belongs to Abdurrahman. Don't belong to me now. So I say to Abdurrahman, take £400 now. When you take £400, give me back the phone. Let me buy the phone from you again. Hold on. Me buying the phone from Abdurrahman, in general, there's nothing wrong with me buying a phone. Up until now, it's halal. Like, where does the haram come into it? The intention, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. It is the deception. Because I've bought this phone back and I've given him how much? 400. He owes me how much? 500. In reality, what I've done is, I'm tricking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and I'm saying, right, I'm just putting this in the way. In the way, somehow, get it in the mix. Okay? But in reality, what is that transaction? It is me giving Abdurrahman £400 because he needs it, and him giving me back how much? £500. Okay. I ask you. £400 for £500. What is the ruling of that transaction? Haram. Why is it haram? The jins of a pound is the same as the jins of a pound. It is exactly the same. Therefore, that transaction is haram. What me and Abdurrahman have just done is exactly that. We've done exactly that. We've committed the riba. Is that understood? وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Although that example, that person has committed the riba, has fallen into riba, but has also fallen into what? Hila. Deceptive, putting in, deceiving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is bay'ul ina. So don't be confused about the phone and so on. The phone is only there in order to what? To cover up the haram, the riba. And there will be more examples. Is that understood? The example of bay'ul ina. Go on.
When exactly is that transaction?
لا, that bay', the first bay' where I said to him, take the phone, give me £500, that bay' is complete. He takes the phone, he's allowed to use what he wants. He can use the phone for what he wants. It's his phone now. He owes me £500. There's nothing wrong with that. That is permissible. So that is a complete bay'.
So it's complete once one party has what he still owes 500 regardless.
It is bay', like in that bay' is sahih. It is a bay' that is sound. Why? Because I've given him his item and he's going to now give me my £500 in a year's time or however long we said. Obviously, if he doesn't pay me, then that bay' it goes back to being not sahih. It is not sahih. But it just becomes like, it's haram because he's obviously conned me out. Like initially, there's no conning. He's taken the phone and it belongs to him. I'm waiting for my money. Is that understood?
I think a lot of people are getting confused because the money is still pending. Like, if we can use the word, the money is still yet to come to the other person's hand. But yet the agreement has been finalized, and that's what counts.
Okay.
The pending issues, the first lot of problem, that's it.
The pending, if I buy a house from you now, take this house and give me, مثلا, I'll sell this house to you for 500,000. You can take the house. And I need to give you what? 500. You may say to me, listen, in the next 5 years, give me £70,000. Every year for the next 5 years, give me £570,000. That's fine. Installments. There's nothing wrong with that. So this example, the only problem with it is that the phone was only there to cover up the riba. The riba, which is, I'm giving him £400, because he's in need, I know he needs cash. Take your cash. But later on, I want you to give me 500. That extra, بأي حق have I taken it? It's confusing, a bay' al-'ina, to be honest. It may be confusing, especially when we get to the next one. Especially when we get to the opposite of that, which is less, which I don't think we can do today. But it's something that you're not used to, that's why. Like in that is ala kulli hal, that is bay' al-'ina. La, people are conners, but it's just not used to bay' al-'ina, not these lot here, but there's common, or there's contemporary examples to this. And we shall see a bit more of this. طيب. We'll stop there, inshallah. Yeah, I wanted to finish the whole chapter today. Lakin, listen, we're going to move on to usul in a second, okay? Two questions from there, one question from the brothers and one question from the sisters.
Okay, so the first question is, what about selling pets like cats or birds?
The ruling on selling cats, not permissible. The ruling on selling birds, permissible.
Is it allowed to sell jewelry or perfume for women, assuming they go in to use it at home?
Of course, otherwise how else would women get hold of jewelry?
This one is already been asking, it's already been answered, but selling makeup to someone who's going to commit to marriage.
Selling makeup to someone who's going to commit to marriage, then it is not permissible. It is not permissible. Obviously, if you've got a choice. If you're in a shop and you're working in the shop, it doesn't belong to you, you can't say, I'm not going to sell this to you, I'm not going to sell that to you. Yeah? For example, if you work in a pharmacy, and someone comes to you and wants the morning after pill, what are you going to do? You can't say to him, give me your marriage certificate, I want to know if you're married or not. You may get sacked within an hour. What can you do? And it's not your pharmacy, you can't do nothing. You have to sell it to them. La, inshallah, you won't be sinning. You can't do anything about it. If you don't sell it now, if you don't sell it to them, it's not right, huh? Huh? I can't hear you. Say that again. That makes it a bit easier, yeah. If you're selling it online, it makes it a bit easier, because you don't know. True. You don't know who you're selling it to. Obviously, yeah. You have to be certain that person's going to do haram. You can't have bad suspicion of Muslims. One more question, Fadl. Selling atar to a person who's in a state of ihram, it's permissible. Why not? He might not want it for that particular. He might not want it in a state of ihram. He might just want it later on. No, they won't spray on him. He's obviously going to avoid it. Let me ask you, if a person's fasting, can he go to Tesco and buy food? Why? He's fasting. Huh? He might eat it later. He might be taking it to the people at home. So obviously atar is okay for the person that is. Salat al-Asr, should we pray now? Yeah. Are we allowed to go to